Where's my jumpsuit? And yeah, I had to bring it home to wash it. I've been wearing it for like 2 weeks straight, my big splattered jumpsuit. So just wore my normal apron today for you guys, but I'm excited to show you everything there is to know about some of our tools, our slotted cups in particular today. And we're going to be talking about making this beautiful rainbow canvas. And we're going to be using our 7 slotted cups. So if you are unfamiliar, FolkArt Drizzle is a brand new paint line in the FolkArt Legacy brand, and it is available exclusively at Michael's. And we have a lot of different paint colors and we have a lot of different tools. So this is one of my favorite tools to use because it's actually a cup that has 7 individual chambers built into the cup. So you can basically pour 7 different colors in the cup and pour them all at the same time. So I want to go ahead and get started and head to our overhead camera. I'm going to set this to the side. We're going to keep our painting over here just so you guys can reference it. And I want to talk to you about basics of FolkArt Drizzle. If you are new to fluid art or paint pouring, go to plaidonline.com/drizzle. And you will find this PDF printable. And this is a great little file that shows you everything that you might have questions about with Drizzle, like what is the paint formula? What are the tools? What are the different specialty kits that we offer? We also go through several different styles of pours to show you, kind of the lingo of paint pouring. And then we talk about supplies, and then any kind of FAQ tips and tricks type stuff. So this is totally free. You can get it at plaidonline.com/drizzle. You can print this out, and I would just put it with all your paint pouring stuff. And it's great to reference when you are in the middle of a pour, if you have any kind of questions or you're wondering what type of pour you want to do when you start. So this is a great thing to have. And just to go over some basic supplies that you need to have with you, starting from the bottom up here, I am working on a table with a drop cloth, and then I've got my reusable baking sheet. If you've ever done paint pouring, you'll know that paint gets everywhere, and it's great to have a surface that is A, protected, and B, pouring into this reusable baking sheet will actually allow you to peel up your paint and either throw it away or you can craft with it when you're done with your painting. So as soon as we're done today, we'll let all that paint dry, and then I'm able to just peel it right up. That non-stick coating on here is the key to this, to paint pouring in general and keeping everything nice and clean. So I love to use these. A few other things, I like to use gloves. These are just vinyl gloves. The FolkArt Drizzle is a non-toxic water-based acrylic paint, so you don't have to wear gloves, and it washes up with soap and water very easily. But I'm just wearing gloves because I like to keep my hands a little bit cleaner. And if I'm switching between pours or if I need to grab other tools, it's really easy for me to just clean off my hands, take my gloves off and grab something else. So that's totally optional. You can totally do this without gloves. A few other things, push pins. I love to have these little push pins to raise my canvas up off of my tray. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So these are really nice because you can just pull these out, pop them into the back of your canvas. And then once we pour all of our paint on our canvas, we won't have our canvas stuck to our tray. So if you were to just pour your canvas and put it right down on your tray, it would be swimming basically in a pool of paint. And we don't want that. So we're going to raise it up off of our baking sheet so that when our canvas is dry, all we have to do is pull our push pins out and we can reuse them later and do another pour. So another thing to have on hand is a canvas. We are doing this one on a circle canvas. You can see my original is this cute little circle, but you could do this on a rectangular or a square. It really doesn't matter what shape, but I just wanted to show you guys the same canvas that I used for the original. I also have a butane torch. This is great to pop any bubbles. If you've got, if you're pouring your design and if you've say mixed your paints, or sometimes air just gets incorporated in your paint when you're pouring it out. This is a great tool to have on hand because you just run your torch about 2 to 3 inches above the surface of your canvas, and the heat brings all those bubbles to the surface and pops them really easily. Now, if you don't have a butane torch, you can use a small craft heat gun, but I wouldn't use like a hair dryer because you don't want to move your paint around. You just want some heat, some directional heat, and these are really easy to use because they're basically small lighters. It's nothing scary. It sounds kind of scary, but it's just like a little lighter in a casing, and you can refill these. You can get the butane at Michael's. You can get different size torches at Michael's, but you can also get them at grocery stores all over the place. Another thing I have on hand are some baby wipes. These are just general wipes. Whatever you've got on hand works. I like to have them just at my side, basically for all crafts, but pouring specifically, because pouring can get pretty messy, and it's really nice to just be able to clean off your gloves when you have them in. So I'm going to go ahead and put my gloves on. And we are focusing on 7 different paint colors and our 7 slotted cups. So you want to make sure you don't have to use the 7 that we're using, but you want at least 7 to fill up each slot in a different color. You don't have to use 7. You could use, if you had 3 colors, you could just repeat a few colors. Just go, kind of, if you have like a black, white, and a blue, you would go those 3, and you could start back over and add an additional one. So you don't have to have 7 colors, but to get this rainbow effect, we are going to do 7. And then
we did have a question. When you are doing these drizzle projects, do you have to pour white paint onto the canvas before you do your art, or is that just based on technique?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think that would be based on what technique you're going for. So we are basically going to be covering our canvas with the paint that comes out of this cup. But you might have noticed before, we've done projects where we have a base coat on our canvas, or we put a layer of that paint down to help our paint move. We do that with our star cup. Let me grab that project just so you guys can see. There are a few times where we would do that. So to use our star and flower shaped cups, I poured down a black layer of paint first. That is wet, and then you put the cup down and you pour paint into it, and the paint seeps into that black color. So that would be a technique that you would use a base color on there. Pour some, like some fluid onto that already to have the paint seep into it. But we're not doing that today for this technique. And this is technically an offshoot of the tree ring pour method. So what we're going to be doing is moving our cup in small concentric circles as we pour. And that's going to give us these bands of color once we swirl our canvas and pour most of that paint off. So good question. All right, I'm going to start loading up my cup here, and I'm going to walk through my colors. I'm going to move them around really quick so that they're in the correct order. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is Good Night. This is our beautiful navy color. It's dark navy. I'm just going to pour this right out of the bottle into our 7 slotted cup, and I'm going to fill it basically to the top because we're doing a relatively large canvas, and I want to make sure I have enough paint to cover the entire surface area of this canvas. Then we're going to do this nice plush purple color, Royal Velvet. And these are great. We sell FolkArt Drizzle in these great 17.6 fluid ounce bottles. They're really big. They have a great little flip top cap on top that you're able to pour directly onto your canvas if you'd like. And that's one of the techniques that we do called a straight pour. We just open the bottle and pour right onto our canvas. These are great bottles. Then we've got Island Hop. This is that bright, bright neon pink. Now, we're using the original formulas today, but we also offer a few different specialties. We have a flash iridescent, which is similar to our color shift line, if you're familiar with the FolkArt paint line. And then we also have metallics, neons. There are a lot of different paint formulas for you guys to experiment with. This is lava. We also have a glitter. It's like pouring with molten glitter. It's perfect for all kinds of different projects. If you guys haven't been in store yet, the Michaels end cap is so great. I love looking at it. All the cut paint colors and all the tools lined up. It's very satisfying. It looks awesome in store.
You might also see Dylan there. There's a nice homage to him on the display.
You can see me paint pouring in action there. And then this yellow is Neon Sunshine, forgot to mention that. And we're going in with Go Green. This is like kind of a classic green color.
So Dylan, when you're putting all of these colors into the 7-slotted cup, what is it the outsides that will have more of a presence on your canvas? Because I notice in your original, there's a lot of that deep blue.
Yeah.
Will that always be the case, or is it just kind of random?
I think it's kind of random. You know, I've used this cup a lot and I get different results every time. So what we pour today may not end up exactly like this canvas because, you know, fluid art is all about letting the paint kind of do the work and kind of embrace the unexpected. So we very well might get this exact pattern, but I think what will most likely end up happening is we'll get a very similar pattern. So it's hard to repeat the exact results with paint pouring, but I think we'll get a very, very similar pattern. Okay, I'm gonna move this back out to the side here. Move this over. Okay, so like I said, we are going to be pouring in what is known as a tree ring pour, and that is going to be us taking our cup, pouring our paint out in concentric circles. So that's what's gonna give us these crazy cool lines. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to pour it on, then we're going to swirl our canvas to get the excess paint off, and then that paint will be left over in the pan that has fallen off of the canvas itself. And I think, I'm trying to remember how I made this. I think I ended up going kind of in a spiral with my cup. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna start at the front here, and I just like to let
So Dylan, I know you're just about to get into it, but we do have one question. What was the last color, that lighter blue that you put in?
Sea level. So this is like a royal blue, sea level. Okay, now I'm going to let all my paint kind of come to the center there, that little tip, and we're gonna pour. See this one, the red and the yellow and the green seem to be a little bit more dominant. So it's all about embracing whatever that paint is going to do. You never know what it's going to do.
It's got a personality of its own.
Oh yeah. Now, once you do this enough, you do get to be able to kind of predict what it's going to do, and you can paint in a way that kind of is somewhat repeatable. But that's the beauty of fluid art. You know, if we wanted a painting that looked the same every time you painted it, you would do decorative painting or figure painting. You know, that's a very exact science. And fluid art is all about being kind of spontaneous and having fun. So you can see that looks pretty crazy on my canvas there.
It does. It looks very different than the original.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And now we're going to swirl. So we're going to take this paint. I'm going to let it come off our canvas a little bit. This is one of the best parts, watching all these colors move around. I'm going to get, I would say, almost all the paint off. And then one of the great things about paint pouring is you can always add a little bit more paint. So, you know, as we were talking about, this one's didn't end up coming out just like our initial one, but what we can do is add a little bit more of those blue colors just right out of the bottle. And I think we'll get a very similar result. That's the fun thing about it. You can always build on your pours. If you're not happy with the way it came out, or if you want more colors, you can always go on top of them.
So Dylan, would you recommend mixing wet on wet, or would you ever allow this to dry and then pour on top of it?
Oh yeah, I typically add my colors while they're wet, but you can absolutely do a pour and then add color on top after it's dry. That would be a really cool technique. I'm sure that would come out with a neat result, but I haven't done that much. I typically want to incorporate all the color into my project. All right, so what we're gonna do, I think I'm just gonna add some on. I'm going back in with my Good Night, that beautiful navy. You could go back in with your sea level. And see how I'm using the paint right out of the bottle. You can kind of draw with it. That's what I'm going to do to just get those kind of shapes that we had in our original. Okay, and then I'm going to swirl this around a little bit. I don't want to get too much of this swirling to happen. Now that I've added this second color, I just want to incorporate that navy blue a little better. Okay, really like the way that turned out. So let's go ahead and get cleaned up here. I'm going to clean off my hands and then we're going to grab our torch. There's hardly any bubbles in the surface, but I'm going to use my torch just to make sure I get any outstanding bubbles. I see like 1 or 2 here. And again, when you're using the torch, all you have to do is hold it about 2 to 3, 4 inches up above your canvas. You just don't want the flame to touch the canvas. You just want that really concentrated heat to hit those bubbles and bring that air to the surface. And I know it's hard to see on camera, but in front of me, when you're working on it and you're kind of looking down, you can see those bubbles pop really, really easily. And you know what? I think since we finished this one so quickly, I kind of want to try that idea that we had suggested, pouring on top of an existing canvas. I think that would be a cool thing to try. I hadn't done that in a long time. So we'll
y'all have front row seats.
Yeah, we're going to be spontaneous here. Okay, let me find a canvas. And we're going to pour, let me go grab a canvas. Okay, so that was a great suggestion because I just found this guy that I did on another live, and I used our flash iridescence. You can see that the paint is kind of iridescent, shifts in changing light. You can see as that light bounces off of it. And it's a pretty canvas, but it's not my favorite, and I think we can improve it. So let's do that. I'm going to swap my canvases here. Now, again, the great thing about using the reusable baking sheets is you can pick up your whole project, basically all of your workstation, and move it to the side. Set this one down. Okay. All right, so this is also a great opportunity to show you our paint skin. I'm so glad this happened. Okay. So, like I said, this is our canvas. It's kind of pretty, but I think we can make it a little bit better. And this is the pan that I poured this canvas in. And you can see that we have all this paint and it has dried in the pan. And now this, you can see how beautiful it is. You've got so much pattern and color here. It's kind of a shame to just toss this in the trash. So what you can do is take an X-Acto blade and a stencil, and you can stencil cut out. You can also use a cutting machine. If you've got a Cricut or a Silhouette, you can actually run this through a Cricut on the on one of the mats, and you can cut letters out or designs out. I wouldn't do anything super intricate, but this is a great kind of medium to work with. It's one of our favorites here at Plaid. Okay, so you saw me just peel up that little piece, and that's really as simple as it is. You can literally peel the paint right up.
That's so cool, Dylan.
I know it's one of my favorite things to do after I do a paint pour, and you've got this sheet of paint basically to play with, and the back is usually even prettier because it's nice and smooth. And again, this was done with our flash iridescent, so it's almost kind of metallic, color shifty. It's a really, really beautiful texture. So I'm going to set this to the side, and I'm going to flip my canvas upside down and put some more push pins in. Okay. All right, then we'll flip our canvas over. And let's see, I want to use some of our glitters and maybe some of our metallics to go with this. Because I think what I want to do is pour a little bit over this, and then I want to leave some of the canvas exposed. And I think I like this side the best on this side. So I think I'm going to try and pour on this side. And I want to show you some of our glitters. This is some of our metallic with our glitter. You can see that gold glitter is so sparkly. It's a really, really cool thing to pour with, because you don't usually, usually you just see pouring with paint and you've got just normal pigments in there. But this is our glitter with our flash iridescent. You can see it's almost pearl-like. Really beautiful.
It's so sparkly. I love it.
It's like kind of fun to be able to pour with glitter, and it's no mess. Once all the glitter is suspended in that drizzle base, so you don't have glitter flying all over the place. It dries down really nice. So I'm going to use my gold glitter. That's Gold Rush. We have 3 different colors. We have Gold Rush, Salty, and Cosmic Sky. And I'll show you examples of those. So Salty is kind of a pastel, pinkish blue glitter. It's kind of hard to tell. But we've got our white in there and our splash, that greenish seafoamy blue. And then Cosmic Sky is almost like a dark black, but also kind of coppery and yellowy. It's a really, really cool glitter. It's those big bands right here. So we've mixed that with our black and our copper metallic new penny. Now I'll show you another one of our golds. Gold is my favorite. I use it in all my different projects up here, as you can see. Okay, so let's do our Gold Rush glitter. And I think, let's see, we'll do some white. I think that would be a nice pop here. So we have a lot of bright pops of color, but we also have these basics in the line. We have a black, we have a white. They're just really nice if you want to blend colors. It's really nice to have these by your side to tint your colors. But this is Cloud 9. So we've got gold, Cloud 9. And let's see, we're going to use one of our other flash iridescents, which is Mint to Be Flash. This is that beautiful aqua flash color next to our glitter. I'm gonna go ahead and open that. I'm gonna get some more gloves on. And I think we're just gonna do a straight pour on this. I'm gonna control where the paint goes, and we're gonna cover up the side we don't like. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I know these projects kind of go fast, but that's the beauty of it. If you're working with teens or kids, it's really gratifying to have your project kind of come to life right in front of you. And pouring really is this simple. If you're not pouring along today, I encourage you to go by and see the end cap, grab some different paint colors, and just experiment. One of my favorite things to use is that 7-slotted cup, because you get a cool design no matter what you're doing. So it's a great thing to have in your arsenal. Okay.
Dylan, I think we have a lot of returning viewers because they're making comments about other projects that you've worked on. So I think we have some eager artists in the
Yeah.
chats because they are really getting into Drizzle.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad you guys are coming back and seeing everything we have to share with you. We have a lot of different classes up on the Michael's Community Classroom schedule. So be tuning in to look at that schedule and see when we're doing things. I know we're going to go over that Star Pour Cup in the upcoming weeks. We're going to talk more about our paint spinner for one of the Let's Paint or one of the paint nights in May. So we've got a lot of different classes coming for you, and they're very exciting. So, okay, let's get back into this pour here. So we're starting with our Gold Rush glitter. Now you can see you've got a milky base and you have glitters suspended in it. That's just where the level was on my bottle. And you're just going to pour this straight out onto our canvas. And I'm going to give kind of a specific line. This is going to kind of end up looking a bit like a geode. I know that's a huge trend in craft and DIY right now. So I think we're going to lean into that. So I just poured my glitter on. Then we're going to use our flash iridescent, that color shifty color, Mint 2B flash. And I think what we're going to do is just line these colors and create that geode look. A little bit of our white. As you can see, I'm literally just going right over the canvas, right out of the bottle. So that's the great thing too. You don't need anything to make this happen. A lot of paint pouring, you have to mix a medium into your paint, and you do not have to do that with FolkArt Drizzle. FolkArt Drizzle is pre-mixed. So all you have to do is open your bottle and you're ready to paint. I'm going to use some of my Good Night.
Now, Dylan, I know that we're trying a lot of experimentation right now in this piece,
Sure.
but if we were to be, really going with that geode look, could you theoretically put like those little rock crystals on the paint while it's still wet, and would it stick? Like, does it have any like adhesive properties?
Oh, yeah. That's a good question. Yeah, definitely would. If you've been following along on our Drizzle launch, we had a few questions in our Let's Paint group, and their questions were, can you put glitter into it? And can you put rhinestones into it? And, this is kind of an example piece. I didn't really do this to look beautiful. However, you can tell that you can stick 3D objects right in the top of your pour. These are some just flat back rhinestone gemstones, and you just put them right in and they are on there. This painting we did last Tuesday, and these are in there. And then we also just have some loose glitter. Michael's has a ton of different glitter colors, and you can just pour glitter right into your painting and you're going to get that glitter to adhere. So it's kind of fun to experiment with. I encourage you guys to embed things into your projects. All right, I'm just about done here. We're going to swirl this a little bit. With a geode pour, you actually want to leave your pattern a little bit. So I'm not going to swirl too much because I want these rings. And when this dries down, this glitter is going to be a beautiful bright color. Remember, it has a milky base. So you see that kind of milky glitter, but it's going to dry down completely transparent. All you're going to see is glitter. Okay, let me put a few more colors. And the great thing is you could leave your painting just like this. If you wanted to just let it dry like this, it might take a little bit longer to dry, but it would dry down and be totally fine. But like I said, we're going to swirl it a little bit to get some of this paint off, just to flatten it just a hair. And remember, we want some of that canvas showing through. And I'm excited to see how this dries down. This was a great suggestion or question that somebody had earlier. Okay, I like the way that looks. So I'm going to grab my torch. Torch a few bubbles here. Okay, and I think that wraps it up, you guys. That is a little extra pouring action for you. So next time we're on with Michael's, I'll have this canvas and we can look at it after it's dried. So I'm really excited to see how it turns out. So great suggestion, whoever had that in the comments. So like I said, feel free to experiment and try all different kinds of techniques. Today we used that 7-slotted cup to create a similar effect to this. Try all kinds of different ways of pouring the paint onto your canvas, and you might end up getting something just like this. You might get something a little bit different than this, like I showed you earlier. Sometimes you can repeat your exact pattern and it comes out beautiful every time. But if it doesn't, you can always paint pour right over it. So it's really fun, really easy. There's no reason to fuss or worry about it because paint pouring is super, go with the flow, enjoy what you get, let the paint kind of take over. So I encourage you guys to explore and experiment and head over to Michael's to grab some different colors. So thank you guys so much for having this class with us today. Like I said, we will be back in the next few weeks with different techniques, and we go into different detail about different projects. Like I said, I know a lot of people are excited to see our flower and star-shaped cups, and we will be doing those in the next few weeks. So please check in and keep up to date on Michael's community classrooms. If you do make any projects with the paint that we are showing you today or different techniques, we'd love for you to share those using the hashtag PlaidCrafts and make it with Michael's. And we do check those because we love to see what you guys come up with. So until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.